Hi everybody, welcome to my place. My name is Mundy and today we're going to do some acrylic pouring. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for a little while. I've only just discovered this art form earlier this year when I decided, kind of a New Year's resolution if you like, that it was time to be creative. So I've done a whole heap of painting. Some of you may have already seen things on Instagram, but I decided, look, it's time to break forth into the videos and see how we go. So, without further ado, we're going to start doing some painting. The first thing I'm going to do is pour a pillow. And I've learned from experience that Dulux is a wonderful paint, but absolutely no good for a pillow. It really pushes all the paint away. So the first thing I do is I pour some Taubmans, maybe lesser quality, but jolly good for doing acrylic paint pouring. I pour it on my canvas, which I already prepared earlier. I know it sounds like I'm cooking, but maybe I'm cooking up a storm of a painting. But anyway, I've prepared them. They've got a nice red edge around them, just because I feel like doing something bright and colourful today. So I've poured my pillow down, and the reason I took my little toothpick was just to make sure that there was no air bubbles in it. And I've prepared paints earlier. Maybe in another video I might give you what the recipes are, but it's just I've found a whole lot easier and a lot quicker and a lot less mess. Because as you can see, I do all my painting in my kitchen. I try not to make a mess, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Anyway, on the pillow, I pour some paint, some red paint. The only thing that I can guarantee about these paintings is the colours I use. I think that's one of the nice things about acrylic pouring. It's a very random exercise. But anyway, so I've got some crimson red, I've got some cerulean blue, not a whole lot because there's not a lot in this bottle. And you may be wondering why I do two. Well, it's because I like doing diptychs, and it's very interesting to see that even though I might pour the same amount of paint on each canvas, the same colours, when I swipe them using my handy dandy titanium white and water cell activator, if I pour it in a different direction, it completely changes what the painting looks like. So now I've got some nice deep purple. And we'll just put, oh look, it's not exact, it's not an exact science, it's art after all. So we're putting the same colours, very bright, vibrant colours, and now I've got something called pink. And we'll just layer it on. And for those of you who don't know, a pillow just kind of helps the paint flow a little bit. Not that it needs much help sometimes, because seriously, this has got to be the messiest form of art I've ever done, but I think that's why I like it. So anyway, I do like bling. You'll notice that I put either gold or silver, occasionally copper, but the copper does tend to look very reddy brown in my paintings, but I do definitely like a little bit of bling. So I go through gold paint quite a lot, to be honest. And that's kind of it. I think I'm happy with that. I know a lot of people blow out. Actually, I might do that with this little toothpick just to try and get some of the very obvious air bubbles out. But really, in the big scheme of things, for me, and maybe it's just because I'm lazy or something, it's okay. Now the hardest bit about all this is getting the titanium white to be on the right spot. And I have got a very nice large spatula from Harris Scarf, if anybody's interested. It's actually a cake spatula. It was the closest thing that I could find to what I've seen on other YouTube channels. And I just basically pour the titanium white and water. Please note, it really has to be a brand called Amsterdam Titanium White. And now I just gently, very gently, don't push too hard. And you can see it starts to form the cells already, which is just the favorite bit. I have experimented with other paints called titanium white, and it's not the Amsterdam white. I don't know what they've put in it, but it really makes a big difference. It's incredibly disappointing when you've made a big batch of this stuff and you don't get cells. Just saying. Anyway, that's what I'm looking for, the cells being activated. And you can see I've done how I've done the swipes. And so what I'm going to do now is go to this side and do the same thing, but from a different direction. And that's the only difference with this painting, and you'll notice they'll be completely different. So do them at the same time. I have done 3 at a time, but that's very hard to manage. Two is quite enough. And now I just pour this on. It's actually quite a quick process to get the paint on. The setup and prep takes a fair bit of doing. The cleanup takes a fair bit of doing, but I tell you one thing, the waiting for the paint to dry can be excruciating. Best part of a week, depending on the weather. Just saying. All right, now bear with, I need to wash my hands. I've got paint on me, because of course I have, it's acrylic pouring, so, you know, this is what happens. But I mentioned it was messy. It's a very messy process. And now what I do is I put some long gloves on, because we've just done the first half of this process. Oh, it looks decidedly rainbowy, doesn't it? Oh, I like it. We've done the first part of the process. We've layered the paint on, and now is the actual pouring thing. So I'm going to just make space and make mess. Bear with. So what I do like to do is to try and to stretch the paint out so that it's not necessarily a solid area of just one colour. And then of course it's going to make a mess and go over the side, and that's perfectly fine, which is why I like to do it in a tray. I've learnt. And even then I still have sometimes managed to get it on the floor. It's a worry, really. But that's okay. Perhaps in another video I might show you what I actually do to prepare to get ready. The other thing to be aware of is that what it looks like when I'm finished, as I turn the camera off, because I've got a pillow of white paint, it's kind of like the paint is alive, and it will still react and misbehave or do its thing for a good sort of 6 hours after I've finished pouring. So I will let you know what it looks like when it's dry. I'll post the end result on Amsterdam. No, I won't. Instagram. Instagram's what I'm trying to say. All right, and then sometimes, just to make sure that it doesn't look too silly, I will use my gloves, which are now all full of paint, and go around the edges. And there's something that's looking particularly wild and magical. Now, even though I've put the paint in exactly the same positions, it's already started to react and do all sorts of lovely things, but you'll see that this blue that's so very obvious in that painting is really not so in this one. And I don't know whether it makes much of a difference because I've let it sit for a bit. Might do an experiment one time and try and remember where I've put the paint, and then swipe differently. But anyway, this is what we're doing today. Yeah, quite wild and exciting. I'm quite pleased with that. I think that's probably about right, actually. And in case anybody's wondering, I actually do, as part of the preparation, I put thumbtacks at the bottom of it, so it's not necessarily sitting in the paint. It's up above for a little while, but it still takes an age to dry. It really takes the best part of maybe 3 days of, sitting quite flat to be at least moved, and then probably another 2 days before you can actually get rid of the thumbtacks. Bear with, I'm just trying, actually no, I'm just going to go to the sink. That's what I'm going to do because it's terribly messy. Check that out, I wasn't kidding when I said it's a very messy process. There we go. All right, and you can already see these little white spots coming through, like the bloom is coming through from the pillow. So it'll be very interesting to see what it looks like when it's set and stops moving after about 6 to 8 hours. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and who knows, we might do another one again. Right, thanks a lot. See ya. Bye.